Hey Reddit, I honestly can't believe I'm writing this, but here we are. I've been married to my wife, Sarah, not her real name, for about 6 years. We've had ups and downs, like any couple, but I always thought we were solid. She's smart, funny when she wants to be, and used to have this spark that made the whole room look at her. Lately though, that spark's been replaced with something else. Something colder. Things started to feel off about 3 months ago. That's when Sarah started working later than usual. Like, a lot later. She works at a marketing firm, same place she's been since before we met. I work in logistics at a warehouse, nothing fancy, but it pays the bills. She used to text me during the day, send goofy memes, ask what we were doing for dinner. Now. It was busy at work, crazy deadline, client dinner, rinse and repeat. At first, I chalked it up to the economy. Everyone's under pressure, right? But then she started dressing a little extra for work. Like heels on a Wednesday and red lipstick when she said she had back-to-back meetings. I joked about it one night, something like, "You dressing up for the CEO?" She laughed too hard, too fake. Brushed it off and said something like, maybe he'd finally give me a raise if I did. Looking back, that should have hit harder. But hey, I trusted her. We've been through so much. I thought maybe I was just being insecure. Maybe I was tired from work or projecting. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, like I said, things had been off for weeks. She was barely home for dinner anymore. I started eating solo most nights, cleaning up after myself, and trying not to read too much into it. But something inside me just wouldn't shut up. That gnawing feeling in your gut? Yeah. That voice was screaming at this point. So one Thursday night, I decided I'd surprise her. I left work a little early, grabbed her favorite takeout, Thai food, extra spicy pad kee mao, and mango sticky rice, and drove over to her office. I figured, hey, maybe she really is just overworked. Maybe showing up with dinner would make her smile, remind her that I'm in her corner. I wish I could say that's how it went. I pull into the lot, and her car is there. Office windows still lit up on the top floor. Cool, she's actually here. I walk into the building, past security, they know me, she's brought me to a few work parties, and up to her floor. The door to her office suite was cracked open. And that's when I heard it. Laughing. A man's voice. And hers. Flirty, breathless. I froze. Part of me wanted to turn around and pretend I didn't hear it. Just go back to the car, leave the food, lie to myself for another night. But I didn't. I pushed the door open just enough to see through. There she was on the edge of a desk, my boss between her legs. My actual boss. The same guy who signs my paychecks. The same guy who invited us to his daughter's birthday party last year. The guy who once pulled me aside and said, "You've got a solid marriage." Rare to see that these days. My wife looked straight at me. Her eyes went wide. She didn't scream. Didn't even cover herself. Just stared at me like I was the problem. He had the audacity to say, "This isn't what it looks like." Sarah just scoffed and muttered, "Of course you'd show up now." Like I had bad timing. Like I was intruding. So there I am, standing in the doorway with takeout in my hands, watching my wife hook up with my boss like it's just another day at the office. Her blouse is open, his belt undone, and they're looking at me like I just interrupted a Zoom meeting. I didn't say anything for a second. I think my brain just stalled. Like when your computer freezes and you keep clicking, hoping something will respond. All I could manage was, seriously? She rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes. Like I was being dramatic. Then came the gaslighting. Sarah pulls her blouse together and goes, "Why are you even here?" I told you I had a client meeting. Like I'm the untrusting husband who broke into her office. I'm still standing there with the pad kee-mao going cold in my hands, and she's acting like I'm crazy. My boss, let's call him Greg, because of course it's Greg, starts trying to talk me down. "Listen man, this isn't personal. We didn't plan this. It just happened. I nearly laughed. Like I accidentally tripped and fell into my wife? Sarah jumps in like she's reading from the cliché cheater's playbook. You've been so distant lately. You're always working. You barely notice me anymore. Oh yeah, right, me working my ass off to pay the bills while she's been unemployed for 8 months. I gave her space, time to figure things out, kept the house running, supported her emotionally, but I'm the one who neglected her? I finally dropped the takeout bag on the floor, because I don't even know what else to do with my hands. My heart's pounding out of my chest. I ask, how long? Silence. Then she shrugs. Shrugs. Couple of months. Like she's telling me how long the dishwasher's been leaking. That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not just the betrayal, but the casualness of it. Like my pain was a speed bump on their little affair road trip. And you know what she said next? Don't make a scene. Right there. That's when the sadness started to sink in. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just nodded, turned around, and walked out. I didn't even take the food. So I walked out of that office like a ghost. Didn't say another word. Didn't look back. I took the elevator down in total silence, just me and a bag of now pointless takeout. I sat in my car in the parking lot for a long time. Engine off. Lights off. Just sitting there, trying to process what the hell just happened. My mind kept replaying it like a broken record. My wife. My boss. My wife. My boss. I kept asking myself, was there a sign I missed? Something that should have tipped me off? And the worst part? I blamed myself. I started thinking, maybe I did work too much. Maybe I should have made more time. Maybe if I fixed the patio like she asked, she wouldn't have needed someone else. Ridiculous, right? But that's what your brain does when someone blows a hole in your reality. It scrambles to explain it. Even if the explanation is you deserved it. When I finally got home, the silence hit me harder than anything. Our house looked the same, but it felt completely different. I sat on the edge of our bed and just stared at the wall. Didn't cry. Didn't shout. Just hollow. She came home an hour later. Didn't say a word. Just walked past me and went into the bathroom like nothing happened. Took off her makeup. Hummed to herself. She even had the nerve to ask me, "Did you eat?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. And you know what she did next? Turned off the light and got into bed. Rolled over. Fell asleep. Like she hadn't just set fire to our marriage. That night, I didn't sleep. I laid there in the dark, inches from someone who felt like a total stranger, and realized I was done pretending everything was fine. That betrayal? It changed something in me. And I wasn't going to be the only one hurting by the end of this. After that sleepless night, something snapped in me. You know that point where pain turns into clarity? That's where I was. I wasn't just angry anymore, I was focused. Cold, even. I realized I had been playing checkers while my wife and my boss had been playing chess. So I decided to play a different game altogether. I started collecting myself. Emotionally. Mentally. Even financially. I didn't blow up on her. I didn't tell her I knew. I acted like everything was normal. Why? Because I wanted time. Time to figure out what the hell I was going to do, and I didn't want to give her a head start to cover her tracks. I began documenting everything. Her texts. Her late-night work meetings. The way she smiled at her phone. I wasn't even sure what I'd do with it all yet, but I wanted ammo. Just in case. And work? Oh, work was tricky. Because now I had to look my boss, that guy, in the face every damn day like I didn't know he was sleeping with my wife. But here's where it gets interesting. About a week after I caught them, I scheduled a meeting with HR. I didn't go in guns blazing. I just expressed concerns. Subtle. Strategic. I asked a few vague questions about interoffice relationships. Brought up a hypothetical scenario where a manager was having an affair with an employee's spouse. I didn't name names. Not yet. They told me they'd look into it. And I could tell I had their attention. Meanwhile, at home, she kept up the act. Cooking. Smiling. Occasionally nagging me like everything was peachy. It was surreal watching someone lie to your face so effortlessly. But I let her. Because the more she lied, the more I knew she wasn't just cheating physically, she was gone emotionally, morally, everything. And I had no intention of saving what was already dead. I wasn't planning revenge out of spite. It was about closure. Justice. And yeah, maybe a little bit of satisfaction. Things were in motion now. I was no longer the clueless husband. I was the one holding the cards. Alright, buckle up, because this is where it gets wild. So, a few days after my little chat with HR, I get called into another meeting. This time, it's more formal. 2 reps, 1 taking notes. They ask me if I have anything else to share, so I go for it. I tell them everything. Names. Dates. The late nights. Even the photos from my surprise visit to her office. Their faces? Priceless. Turns out, there were already whispers going around about my boss. This wasn't his first sketchy situation with a subordinate or a subordinate's wife, apparently. My report? That was the match on gasoline. HR thanks me, tells me to keep things quiet while they handle it internally. I nod, walk out, and head straight home. Because it's her turn now. She's on the couch when I get there, scrolling on her phone like the last week hasn't been a total train wreck in disguise. I sit next to her, casually, and drop the bomb. Me, so, I talked to HR today. Her, not looking up, about what? Me, about you. And my boss. And the little after-hours party you've been throwing without me. She freezes. Doesn't even try to fake it this time. Just looks at me like she's trying to figure out how much I know. Her, you're being dramatic. Me, I saw you. In the office. With him. You think I'm stupid? Her, defensive, it was a mistake, okay? It wasn't serious. I didn't mean for it to happen, it was just. Me, spare me. I know what I saw. Then she flips. Full 180. Suddenly I'm the problem. I'm never home. I work too much. I emotionally abandoned her. You know, the usual cheater bingo card. I just sat there in silence while she spiraled. I wasn't looking for an apology. I wasn't expecting guilt. I just wanted to see what kind of person she really was when she had nowhere to hide. Spoiler, it was ugly. Eventually, she stormed out to clear her head. I took that moment to change the locks. Called a locksmith, handed over a credit card, and made sure she'd need more than just an apology to get back in. When she returned later that night and realized she was locked out? Oh, the rage. She banged on the door for 20 minutes before realizing I wasn't bluffing. I didn't answer. Let her sit with the consequences for once. So, after I locked her out, I stayed up just staring at the ceiling, thinking, how the hell did I get here? Next morning, I get a call from HR. Turns out, they confronted my boss. He didn't deny it. In fact, he doubled down, said it was consensual, personal life stuff, not company business. Well, that didn't go over well. By Friday, he was on leave pending an internal review, which I'm pretty sure is corporate speak for we're lawyering up because you screwed the pooch, Steve. And yes, his name is Steve. Of course it is. Meanwhile, guess who starts blowing up my phone like it's 2010 and we just started dating? My wife. Now she wants to talk. To explain. To work it out. Too little, too late. And here's the kicker, one of Steve's former assistants reaches out to me on LinkedIn. says she saw the HR report and wanted to share her story. Apparently, Steve had a pattern and she'd been one of his early mistakes. She sends me screenshots, dates, everything. Dude had been a walking scandal for years, and my wife? She was just the newest trophy on his creepy little shelf. I was pissed, but something in me shifted. I wasn't just heartbroken anymore. I was done. Done with trying to be the perfect husband while she played house with my boss. Done pretending this was salvageable. Done with the gaslighting and guilt trips. So I did what I should have done long ago. I called a lawyer. So yeah, I called a divorce lawyer. Told him everything. He said, "You've got the receipts, and that's a good thing." Apparently catching your spouse sleeping with your boss while you're working overtime is legally significant. Who knew? I served her the papers a week later. She cried. She screamed. She begged. Claimed she didn't know what she was thinking, that Steve manipulated her, and that it was just a stupid mistake. Yeah, a mistake that lasted for 2 months and involved hotel receipts, dinner dates, and my F***ing performance review being tanked star. I didn't buy a word of it. Meanwhile, HR officially fired Steve for violating company policy. Word spread fast. His wife left him, his LinkedIn disappeared, and suddenly the guy who thought he was untouchable was unemployed and living in a crappy apartment downtown. Poetic. As for me? I took some time off work. Therapy became my new part-time job. I rebuilt myself slowly. I learned to stop blaming myself for someone else's selfishness. I stopped asking, "What did I do wrong?" and started asking, "Why did I tolerate so many red flags?" I'm not gonna lie, divorce sucked. Watching someone you love turn into a stranger sucks worse. But you know what? I survived. And now, I'm doing better than I ever thought I could. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, please hear me. You are not crazy, you are not weak, and you are not alone. People lie. People cheat. But you don't have to stay in the wreckage with them. Walk away. Heal. Rebuild. You deserve peace. Thanks to everyone who followed my story. Reddit has weirdly been the place I felt most sane throughout this chaos. Y'all helped me keep my head on straight, and I'll always be grateful for that. Peace.